And then there's some restaurants say, well, do y'all want to eat outside? My people don't eat outside. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No, we need to be on the inside.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't with that right there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Chris Adler. Thanks for checking out my podcast, where every week there's a different guest in a different location. My guest this week is the host of Dining Out with Comedienne Joy. She also runs a gigantic party bus food tour called Birmingham Eat, Drink, Ride. The bus is lined with leather couches. It's got mirrors on the ceiling, a minibar, big screen TVs. So Joy and I are just going to hang out, talk food, business, comedy, Jesus, beer, failure, success, all kinds of stuff, and just have a good time as we chill out and chat in the back of her party bus. Here's Comedienne Joy. I am sitting in the back of a stinking awesome party bus right now with one of the coolest people that I've had the pleasure of meeting in the Birmingham area. Comedienne Joy, thank you for letting me hang out on your party bus.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Listen, you can come back anytime because I love that intro.
Okay, awesome. Good. Yeah, you and I were just talking. We have a very funny history in that the only time we've really sat down and talked is when we were sitting and judging food competitions.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Somebody has to do it, so it may as well be us, right?
That's right. The first was a hamburger cooking contest.
Yes.
And then the second was a macaroni and cheese festival or something like that.
So maybe next year we'll put the mac and cheese on the hamburger.
There you go.
We'll have a great combination.
How long is this bus that we're sitting in right now? Is this like a 50-foot bus? This is
I don't
amazing.
know. It's just big. I tell people it's a BAB. It's a BA bus. Yeah. So when I got this bus, like they sent me a picture of it, and I was like, wow, nice. And then when it arrived in Birmingham, I was like, oh my God, this thing is massive. It is like so big.
It is awesome. It feels like a limo, like, but like it's not cramped up top like a limo is a lot of times. You can walk around, you can stand up in it. I mean, there's LED lights, there's mirrors on the ceiling, there's color-changing LED lights everywhere. And you take this bus and you fill it up with people and you show them a great time around the city of Birmingham.
I do. And it's still revolving around our favorite thing, and that's food. So I take people to 5 local restaurants within 4 hours. We have small bites, we have cocktails, and in between that, we have a lot of fun on the bus. So it's great because it introduces people to some of our local spots, because I'm a huge supporter of our local restaurant community. So we're all over Metro Birmingham. We could be in Leeds, we could be in Forestdale, we could be in Alabaster, Calera, Southside, downtown. We're everywhere in those 4 hours, having fun, eating and drinking and riding. So that's how I came up with the name, because that's what we're doing.
So this is totally you, like the eat, drink, ride, even the name, the premise, all that. This is a Comedienne Joy joint.
Yes.
That's too cool.
So how it happened about 18 months ago, a bus company came to me and said, hey, can you do something with our party bus? And I was like, what? Ain't no food on it. I live my life in restaurants from my TV show. And so a friend of mine said, well, why don't you do a food segment on the bus? And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And so some of the feedback that I would get from my TV show is, we want to eat where you eat. So I figured this would be a great way I could take people where I eat at the same time and introduce them to new local spots. So initially I thought we did not have any food tours. There was one, but I figured this was a way that I could start a food tour in addition to what we had, because it seemed like that, most major cities have them, but I just really wasn't aware of, us having one. And then by us being the up and coming foodie city, I'm like, this is perfect. This is awesome. And so from there, it's been a win for everyone, because most of the people that board this bus, they've never heard of the places that I go to, and the restaurants, they get new clients.
That's great. So before doing this, you did comedy, hence the name Comedienne Joy.
Correct.
And then I see you. We've got like all the local news stations up on the TV wall in the studios at the Rick and Bubba Show. I seriously look up probably twice a week, and you're on. I'm like, there she is on ABC, there she is on Fox, there she is on NBC. Like you're just crazy. You're a media mogul. It's awesome.
Well, I've never had the title before, but I'll take it. Okay.
So,
but at least I'm on there for good things. You'll never see me there in handcuffs.
It's not like mugshots.
Yeah, like my bra off, my teeth off. You'll never see that.
Right? You're a guest on the show, right? And so you've been doing the dining out with Comedian Joy thing for how long?
It's going on 4 years, which it doesn't seem like that long. I guess it should feel like that long as I edit all those videos. But, I started off, once again, the same person who gave me the idea about the bus. He was like, why don't you do, food videos? Because you're always talking about food. And if you give me a good idea, I'm like, okay, I'll run with it. So I started putting those little 2-minute snippets on social media, and people started going to the restaurants. I'm like, hold on. I need to be able to capitalize off what I'm doing. And so I was, kind of talking to a couple of people, and they was like, well, why don't you do a show? No one is doing a show, and we're in a foodie city. Okay.
Yeah.
And from there, the popularity has grown. And so I see a number of people that say, hey, we watch your show. We're in this restaurant because of you. And I'm just like, wow. So it's really amazing. And it's just great for our local restaurant community, because a lot of the people I work with, like, this is their bread and butter. They cash out their 401ks. Is this or nothing. So I just try to do, my part to say, hey, this is a great place to eat. Or people ask me, hey, where should I go eat? You should go here. What side of town? What kind of food? So that way I can recommend them. And so, I just want to see their doors to stay open. I mean, as I tell people on the tour, when you come here, I'm taking you to see my friends. These are just not random places. They're actually my friends. And we have some amazing food, some amazing people that's in the kitchens. And so for them, I have a new appreciation for them, because they don't hardly see their families. Their pets don't even know them, because they're in these restaurants, 15, 16 hours a day. They're on their feet. They're getting burned, all just so we can get full.
It is a grueling business to be in. I've known some very smart, successful people in other areas that have gone into the restaurant industry, into the restaurant business, and 2 years they grind and grind, and like you said, they never stop working. They're always there, and 2 years later, they just can't make it happen.
Yeah.
So Rick and Bubba included. In fact, Rick and Bubba opened Rick and Bubba's.
They had a restaurant?
They had a restaurant. Yeah, this was probably like maybe 15, 20 years ago. I forget. Maybe it was 15 years ago, something like that. But yeah, they opened the restaurant, and even some giant guys like Rick and Bubba, they lost money 1 week because they used too many condiments. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's your margins are really thin.
Exactly.
It's crazy. Like, it is tough. That, and I've heard like even the grocery business. Like, if you buy something from Best Buy, their markup might be twice or 9 times for whatever they pay for that thing. Right. But I hear in the grocery industry, it's like razor thin margins.
Oh, yeah. And even when you think about food one day, I was thinking about the process that food go through. Think about, you get this little bitty baby seed, you put it in the ground, we wait for it. So a farmer has to make money off of this thing. Then you take it somewhere to the food truck people, who then in turn sell it to the restaurant people, and then we got to pay for it. That food has been passed around a lot.
It really has, yeah. A lot of hands, and everybody's got to be paid,
Exactly.
Something that we bonded about the very first time we met, we were judging this hamburger contest, and I know that the places that you're going to are very good because I've seen you judge food, and you are very honest.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I can't lie about food, because for me, food isn't just a thing. Food has to move me. There's a feeling, there's an emotion. It's like a relationship. When you see that beautiful, fine girl, you like, yeah, baby, yeah. And then when she like, ooh, Chris, boo, you look so sexy. You like, yeah, baby, yeah. That is what food is supposed to do for you. You don't want to like see this fine thing and then she smile and don't have teeth.
Right.
So when the food is not good, it's like it doesn't have teeth. But when it's good, it's smiling back at you and it's looking sexy in a 6-pack. That's what food is supposed to do to you.
Yeah, my wife Erin always calls me sexy boo all the time. No, I never get that, but that's okay.
See, you got to cook her the right thing, and she'll call you.
Okay, all right, all right.
My husband know when he's in trouble to fry me some chicken.
There you go.
And he comes out the doghouse. Let me tell you a couple things about cooking. See, Chris, cooking is overrated, for one thing. You got to stand up over that hot stove, and you got to stir it, and you got to wait for it to be ready. Got to cook to the bone, grease popping out, which way. I don't have time for that. The way my life's set up, it need to be one dish in like 20 minutes. I I don't do all that chopping and dicing and marinating. I learned that is why my food is not as good as the restaurant. Also, I don't use high quality products.
Sure.
Thus, the food I eat is good because they got quality stuff.
Yeah.
So when I taste it, I'm like, oh, that's why my food sucks. And then, like, I believe people when they say that it's the love that they have that goes in it, you can feel the love. See, when I eat my food, it's hate. That's what you're tasting. My food ain't good. It's anger. Because I'm like, I don't feel like standing here cooking this food.
That is so funny.
I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that.
So we're judging this hamburger contest, and you were awesomely, hilariously honest. Like, if something wasn't good, you were like, that's nasty. No.
Yeah.
And
remember that piece of raw meat?
That was just among the judges, too.
Yeah.
I do remember, yeah.
And I'm like, you gonna give me salmonella? I don't even know if you get that from raw meat, but I know you ain't supposed to be eating no raw hamburger meat. I'm not eating it.
Yeah, and it was just among the judges. You weren't saying this to the people's faces, but you were very honest among the judges.
And so here's the thing. I would never say that, publicly.
Yeah.
So sometimes if people want to know my true emotion about a restaurant, I prefer they inbox me. I'm not going to write on that, that food sucks.
Sure.
I would just, probably say you may want to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to rat anybody out. Joy is not that kind of person.
Sure.
Yeah, but I always tell people you can know when I'm truly passionate about it and it's really good. One, when you see me eating and I can't put the fork down, it's really good. And then when I hashtag it, Joy approved.
Okay, there you go. So one thing that we super just like bonded about when we were judging this hamburger contest, something that you do that I also do is that you're a one-woman show. Like these videos that you're putting out, the show that you do, even the packages that you make for these TV stations here in town, it's all you. It's 100% you. You are the videographer, the editor, and the host, and there's nobody else on this bus except us two. So I'm in the same boat, and I know how tough that is, and I hugely respect that. Your videos are great. They're really entertaining. Your personality comes through, and they're a great watch, and I've gotten some great restaurant tips out of those. So props, and keep up the great work. We were judging that burger contest, and there was a local politician he was like one of the judges too. I don't know if you remember this. And that was like the only time I really had seen that guy. I don't really follow politics.
Who was it? I don't remember.
I forget his name, but then a year later, his face was on TV, and it was for a bad reason. Like he was in prison for stealing stuff or something.
Oh, he's in prison now?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh man, this is Alabama. No telling who that was. Hey, there are a couple people down there I'd like to go and lock up myself.
Well,
but that's probably another podcast right there.
That's so good. The name Comedian Joy obviously is because you're a comedian.
Yes, so this would be my 15th year of doing comedy. Been doing clean comedy the whole time.
Are you serious? That is awesome.
Yeah, I even take baths.
That's great. Good.
Yeah, so I started doing clean comedy because, one, I'm a Christian, but my daughter was young when I first started, and so I felt like I needed to be her role model, not Beyonce, not some other superstar. And so kids are so smart, I didn't want me to tell her, do as I say and not as I do. And because I'm a Christian in real life, I said, okay, this give me a chance to make fun of the Bible and see who's really reading it. And so it kind of worked out for me. So a lot of churches, they really supported my comedy. And so I just haven't been doing as much comedy now that I have this big bus in my life.
Yeah.
Because it pretty much consumes me on weekends. But, I try to be available for, weekday stuff, but mainly a lot of corporate functions.
Right.
Just because as you evolve, your life has to evolve with you. So, I just kind of keep my comedy on the bus because some of these bus tours become a comedy show within themselves. For
sure.
So it's interesting because a lot of people, they'll call, they want more information about the tour, and I always ask, are you telling jokes on the bus? No, but I'm engaging with people. So what people don't understand as a comic, you need people to be listening to you, to be in tune, and not trying to say, what she say, because I didn't hear you. So on the bus, we have loud music, people are up, they're trying to dance and all of this stuff. So there's no way I can do a comedy show. And then when you talk about being on a party bus, a lot of people are like, I don't want to be quiet to listen to you. So that's why I just try to say that I would rather be engaging with people, but then sometime near the end with certain groups, tell us some jokes. And I want to be like, listen, that's another set of money. If you want some jokes, you need to pay me for Comedian Joy telling you jokes. You pay for the food tour and you are riding with Comedian Joy.
That is so funny. Yeah, you're a host.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the MC of the evening,
Yeah.
but you're not going to do a full set.
No. It's too much. And so what people also don't realize is during the tour, I'm still working.
Right.
So part of those hosting duties include contacting the next restaurant that we're going to.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to let them know, hey, we're en route. I have, 15 people with me, but one of them is a vegan. So that way, when we arrive, that they'll have all of our food together as opposed to us trying to walk in and order. So they don't see, the other work that goes in behind it. In their mind, we're just going to eat at restaurants. Yeah, that's the big picture, but there's still work involved. So the beauty is that I learned as I was growing and doing so many tours that I needed to expand my restaurant base, which wasn't a problem because I've already, have great relationships with so many restaurants anyway.
How many people normally fit in this bus? Or how many can fit and how many do you normally have?
I'm so glad you asked, Chris.
Good.
So here it is.
Uh-huh.
I can get 23 regular size on here, about 15 plus size, and about 40 super skinny.
Oh, okay, 40 super skinny.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. You got your...
I got it down to a science.
Yes, you
Now,
did.
1 week, I think it was a fire hazard on here because I had like 26 people on here. And I just said, fix it, Jesus.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Chris, can I be real with you for a minute?
Please do, please.
I want to ask people, when you're booking a tour, can you send me a picture of what you look like? Because sometimes I'm thinking people are regular size. And Chris, when they have too many hips, they're taking up too many seats on the bus. And if we come with a full load, I just say, fix it, Jesus.
Fix it, Jesus. Please fix it.
So that's my line. But if you're regular size, then we good. It's like the airplane.
Funny.
You can only hold so much on that airplane.
All right. Totally.
So on average, we'll have anywhere from 10 to 15 people, but a lot of times people like to book the bus as a private tour, like for their birthdays or ladies' night out, things like that. And so, that's when we normally roll, with our 10 to 18 or whatever. But sometimes when I do private tours, if you don't have enough, then I may combine a group. And so it started off like both people only had 9, which meant 9 times 2 is 18. Then both of them came and said 13 times 2 is 26. And I said, fix it, Jesus. And when the first group came on here, they were rather hippie.
Yeah.
And I was like, where we gonna put all these guys? Fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus.
I've looked through a ton of your social media. You'll have people from all different walks of life, all different shapes and sizes and colors. And I think that's a really cool thing. That's a really neat thing.
Yeah.
And everybody's having a great time, and you obviously make it fun for everybody, and that's a really tough thing to do. So props again, once again, for doing a great job.
So again, I'll keep it real. I never expected, I don't know what I expected, but I never expected the majority of the people came on the bus to be black, because I was like, $100 a pop, they're not going to pay for that. But that's what my clientele has looked like. So now it's kind of, becoming a little bit more diverse. And I never want anyone, via whatever race, to feel uncomfortable if it's more than one race or the other.
Right.
So I always want to make people feel comfortable,
Yeah.
When they're on the bus. And so to my knowledge, everyone has been comfortable. Everyone has had a great time. I've had strangers that came on, became the best of friends. I have my one story I love to tell. This one group, all of them, no one knew each other. By the time the tour was over, they rebooked and came back together. They said they didn't want anybody else on there but just them. But they just had the most amazing time. And at the end of that tour, they was like, when we coming back? So,
That's great.
And I just think that, it's a good thing, because we can all get along. And I always say food is that one thing that brings all races together. When you got a good meal together, ain't nobody got time to be hating on nobody. We want to know, can I get that last piece of chicken? That's all we want to know. So sometimes I do themed tours. I've done a taco tour. I've done a soul food tour, but the most popular has been a seafood tour. But I also want to put together like an international tour where we may eat Ethiopian. We may have Thai food. We may have Chinese food. We may have a whole variety, because the one thing that I notice is that sometimes, especially in my community, we're not always exposed to different cultures.
Right.
And to be able to get good, authentic food, which I know they do very well here in Birmingham, I think it would be amazing.
Super cool. Yeah, and that's got to be a tough line to walk, to show people new things, but also make sure they're getting plenty of stuff they're comfortable with and they know that they like already.
Right. Yeah, because it's a mystery to them. They don't know where the bus is going.
Oh.
I tell them as we go along.
Cool.
And so one of the reasons for that is because I want people to live in the moment. Because we've been talking about getting together for the longest. We knew today what time we were going to meet. You probably thought about the questions you were going to ask, when it's going to be over, how you're going to edit it, when you're going to put it. For once, live in the moment. If you're celebrating your birthday, come celebrate your birthday. If you just want to come and see what it's like, come and let your hair down. And that's what I ask of people. The other reason is I don't want people saying, she said we're going to go to this restaurant. Why we going to get this dish? Why we can't get something else? I don't want this right here. Because as I tell people, that's not a blessing. I've had a couple people here say they can't eat cheese. I'm like, what's wrong with you? So I actually renamed her No Cheese. So everybody called her No Cheese on the whole tour.
Oh my gosh.
So sometimes people want to say, I don't eat this here. I tell them in my welcome announcements, if you don't like what's in front of you, gently push it away. But please don't say, I don't want none of this. Because I tell them that's not a blessing to my spirit.
Right.
And I'm trying to stay safe.
Do you have a horror story from any of your comedy days?
Oh, my comedy?
Yeah.
No, I thought you were going to ask about these tours.
Okay, well, I'll ask about a tour, too.
Okay, so my comedy story. Okay, so now I have talked about it. So, like, my worst time ever, it was really, I thought it was career suicide, but it actually kept me in the game.
Wow.
So, you're familiar with Tom Joyner?
Yeah.
The radio show that comes on. Okay. So, we have the Magic City Classic that comes here.
Big deal.
Yes.
Big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to do some comedy during the morning of his show in front of all these people at Legion Field. So I was like, oh my God, this is going to get me out of Birmingham. I'm going to be so famous. I'm going to be rich. That was career suicide. Now, all that week I was working at the Stardome, killing it.
Yeah.
People were cracking up, thinking I'm funny.
Yeah.
I took them same jokes to Legion Field.
Ooh.
Those folks booed me off the stage.
No.
Chris, let me tell you, it was so horrible. J. Anthony Brown, which was on his show, he's now on Steve Harvey's show, he told me, you should have got off that stage. I walked off the stage early. This lady said, and I should have remembered her face. She said, don't you embarrass us anymore. The folks from the radio station I was on, they had to eventually come back out because I guess they realized, hey, there's no talking out there. I went to try and go hide. I never forget it was cold. I had this purple scarf on, and I went home to try to bury this scarf and bury myself because I was so depressed and embarrassed.
Oh, it's tough.
And so even one of my friends in Tennessee heard it, and she was like, oh, it was bad. So that weekend, like the next day, I had to perform for someone's birthday. I was trying my best to get out of it because I'm like, maybe, we have a tornado or something like that and I don't have to go. And I was just like praying to God. I'm like, God, I just cannot going to do that because like my confidence level was gone.
I know it. I know what you mean.
Yeah, it was awful. But I went in there, did a great job. He was surprised and he ended up booking me for one of his events when he came back to Tuscaloosa, and he actually saved my comedy career.
There you go.
Because I was just going to go be a secretary and vanish off in thin air.
I know it.
So, yeah.
I know what you mean. Like when you care about something and you try hard and it feels like people are rejecting you as a person in that situation. That is tough. Comedy is one of the hardest things to do on the planet.
So, again, it goes back to your community. My people, we hold no punches. We're going to tell you, you suck. That was terrible. That was awful. Your people, you're going to be like, oh, it's okay, sugar. I laughed a little bit.
And even like you mentioned that you were killing at the Stardome with that same material. I've done that before too. And it's just like a different room. And with Legion Field, you're so far away from the people. There's the echo. There's all that. Doing comedy in a big room like that is almost impossible. Right.
So here's where I messed up. So I have learned that you have to cater to your audience.
Yeah.
So you've got to realize who's been up all night drinking at that event for the football game. So I'm, used to my church going people or
Right.
just my regular people. So the guy who went before me, oh my God, he killed it. He was so hilarious. I really hate working with him because he's so good.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's able to relate with the crowd. He's talking about getting locked up. He's talking about smoking weed. Joe, I don't know nothing about that. I was in college before I found out a $5 bag was $5. My mama said, don't do it. That was the end of the story.
There you go.
So if you have to know your audience, who you're talking to, and you have to be relatable. Once you're relatable, then they feel like they can roll with you. So ever since then, I don't even go to the classic. I'm like, I hate it.
Because I know what you mean when you got to know your audience. I was doing the DJ thing for a while, DJing weddings, DJing proms and stuff like that. It was a good way to make a good bit of money. Hopefully in one day or two, that kind of thing.
Right.
I did a public school dance in more of a country area. So I pull up, set up all my gear, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be one of the bigger proms I've ever done. There's probably 500-600 people gonna be showing up to this thing, and I start playing my tunes, and they just start looking at me like,
What
this guy is lame. And I'm like, all right, so that's not working. I'll try something else. So I'll try a different direction. I played some song, and they just decided this was the last straw, and they start booing. And they start booing. They start booing. The next thing I know, there are 500 kids yelling, staring at me, juniors and seniors staring at me, screaming, boo.
Oh my God.
And I drove home that night. I was like, I'm never DJing again. I'm never doing this again, ever. So I know exactly how you feel.
I never knew you can be booed as a DJ.
Well,
Skip it. Where we gonna put all these guys?
I need your list of like places, like best. Who's the best barbecue in Birmingham?
Best barbecue in Birmingham, we have to go to Rusty's Barbecue.
Rusty's?
And when you go to Rusty's, you got to get them cornbreads muffin. You got to say it just like that. And then they fresh and it's ready in 7 minutes with a little touch of jalapeno in.
All right. So that's Rusty's is your favorite barbecue. What is your favorite seafood?
My favorite seafood, it's a toss-up. Probably between Cajun Bistro and the Seafood King. See, the Seafood King, they got them steam bags over there. You can get in, you wear your gloves and stuff over there and your bib, and you get all in there with them sausages and them shrimp and stuff.
Ooh.
But then Cajun seafood over there, when they put that sausage and them shrimp on them Cajun Bistro fries, it just does something to me over there.
So what is your favorite soul food?
Soul food, I probably have to go with Jake's Soul Food. They got that sweet potato casserole. That's so good, man. That's another make you want to slap your mama. They have great wings over there. And the collard greens, so good.
I love collards. Do you have like a favorite Asian restaurant here in town, whether it's Thai or Chinese, Japanese, anything?
Now, my favorite Thai place, and I need to go back and visit them, is Masaman Thai. It's over on 31 in Vestavia by Publix. Their coconut soup, oh my word!
What about like? Do you ever do like any like original pancake house? You ever do any like breakfast food, or I guess dessert would be more of the nighttime thing?
Well, breakfast food, I like the brunch at your mama's restaurant. Oh, I know you've been to your mama's.
I've never been to your mama's.
Okay, Chris, see, we're about to have problems right now. We're about to rumble right here on the party bus on your podcast.
I'm sorry.
They are famous for their chicken and waffles. It's nothing like it.
That's great.
You got to try her chicken and waffles. So they're really popular. They won a bunch of awards and stuff. And there was even one time, I think it was their first year anniversary, I tried to compete against the firefighters and the police officers in a chicken eating contest. I tried, but I lost. We both lost to some random kid who just walked up because he heard music playing.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
The combination of, sweet and savory and chicken and waffles is just
favorite.
so good. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think I'd really had that until you saw a few restaurants here in town start offering that. I was like, wait, what? What's your favorite place for drinks in Birmingham?
All of them.
All of them.
I got to give a plug for my favorite beer in all of the world.
Yes.
Interstellar Exploration Ginger Beer Company. They make ginger beer in alabaster. And it's my absolute favorite. I'm not a beer fan. I don't like beer that tastes like beer.
Right.
And this is my favorite ginger beer. So they have two. They have one called First Contact, which has more alcohol content in it. So you have to be very careful. You might need the bus driver.
Sure.
And then they have another one called Ginger Collider. So it's like pina colada and ginger beer mixed together. Those are my absolute two favorites. So sometimes we take the bus down to Alabaster. I introduce them, to the beer. Sometimes they walk away with, the jug thing, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Whatever thing you put it in.
Yeah, what is that called? Not a hopper.
No, it's not a hopper.
Growler.
Yes, that's it, a growler.
Yeah.
And we get a tour down there. So they're my absolute favorite beer in the planet, period.
One local beer that you might like, because I know what you mean. Like, I don't like the taste of, like, Coors Light. That's not a good, that is a bad tasting drink.
Yes.
That's why they make it, that's why they serve it at 32.5 degrees. So it's so cold you can barely even taste it.
Right.
I like beers that I can take an hour drinking, and that first sip tastes as good as the last sip. It's a quality beer,
Okay, I can get with that.
But Trim Tab is a brewery here in town. Trim Tab Brewery. They make a raspberry.
I have had the raspberry.
Yeah, it's like a Hefeweizen raspberry beer. Anyways, what did you think of it?
So I like the raspberry,
but it still tasted like beer.
Well, I mean, I dealt with it.
Sure.
Beer. But have you had that cucumber beer they have?
I have. It's good.
It tastes like the devil.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, I'm not as big a fan of cucumber.
Oh, my God. I swear, if the devil had a taste, it would be that cucumber beer.
Well, you do such a cool thing, and I really, really respect your game and your grind and your hustle. You got so many skills that come together into this business. You got to know people. You got to know all different types of people. And you got to know business, and you got to know that side, finances, that side of things. But then you got to know about food, and then you got to know about drinks, and you got to know about sober people, and you got to know about drunk people. You do it all. You're a one-woman show. Your fun personality is contagious, and that in itself is just a gift to others. So thanks for sharing the joy.
Oh, yeah.
That was on accident. And that is it for this episode. Thanks so much for watching. At the end of every episode, I try to do three things. Number one, I highlight a different nonprofit organization. Number two, I promote next episode. And number three, I include at the very end of each episode a little bonus clip. Just so you know, that's what I'm doing. Today's nonprofit organization is called Strands. Taking inspiration from Ecclesiastes 4:12, Strands comes along families who have found themselves in financial hardship due to medical bills, childhood illness, or unexpected tragedy. Strands sells cool custom t-shirts, bracelets, necklaces, and more, with proceeds going to those in need. Strands is also going to be hosting a softball tournament June 15th for a fun family day with concessions and a kid zone. It's going to be great. The deadline to register is May 20th. That's really soon. Also, if you're looking for a way to help out, they could use an air-conditioned RV or tent to use as the first aid station at this softball tournament. You can find their custom shirts and necklaces and bracelets and more info at strands412.com. That's strands412.com. Next week, my guest is Ben Cox. He's an archery expert. He sells and tunes bows of all kinds at Hoover Tactical here in Birmingham, Alabama, where they have a pro shop and an archery range. And next week, he's going to try to teach me how to shoot a compound bow. It's going to be great. Find all the links and all the info and previous episodes at my website. That's adler.tv. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe on YouTube and Apple Podcasts if you enjoy this podcast. And thank you so much for your feedback and for your support. I will see you next week.
Yeah, but if I had your body, I could eat some more. See, I can make two of you, so I'm going to have to do some pushbacks. After a while, I'll be one of them 15 plus size girls on this bus.